In answer to the question, revolution or evolution, social media revolution or evolution, for me, it's evolution. It's just one form, a new form of communication that brings us to where we are today. The difference between social media and the wax tablets is simply speed, nothing more than that. But I think the question we also want to ask is really sort of, what does social media bring to the party? Is it different to what's gone before? And I don't know if anybody here has seen that marvellous movie Kung Fu Panda. But if you have seen Kung Fu Panda, you'll know that there's a moment when Po, the eponymous panda, is having a bit of a meltdown because he hasn't been able to interpret the dragon scroll. Well, it's a brilliant film. If you've not seen it, do. And his father is a duck called Mr. Ping, who is a noodle chef. And Mr. Ping says, offers to share with Po the secret ingredient of his special secret ingredient soup. And the secret ingredient? Well, there is no secret ingredient. The rationale behind that is that to make something special, you simply have to believe it's special. Now, I think that works for social media myself, simply because I personally don't believe it's special. But there isn't a secret ingredient. It's not something you have to treat in isolation. Whether you're producing video or whether you're illustrating a media story with a good photograph, your content should be able to translate into different media, whether it's broadcast, whether it's TV, radio, whether it is print, whether it's e-bulletins, whether it's social media. Your content should be there to attract the audience and bring them in. The 5 things that make a story will make a story whatever the media is, or whatever the medium is. This is a thought for the day. I said, what differentiates social media from traditional media? And for me, it's speed and reach. So if you can go back to last year, 6th of July 2013, San Francisco Airport, the Asiana Airlines Flight 214 was on final approach. Had 307 people aboard, and at 11:28, it crashed. Now, looks pretty terrible actually. As it turns out, it was lucky because what happened was that an oil tank ruptured and the oil caught fire on hot engine parts. The aviation fuel didn't. And therefore, I mean, I don't know if anybody remembers this. Can you remember, out of the 307 people on board, how many survived? It's actually 304. 3 people died, 2 of them, one of them anyway, definitely was run over by an emergency vehicle. It's a terrible, terrible shame, but there you go. Why am I introducing this? Because 11:28, remember? That's 7:29 p.m. Okay, the time zones are different. That's a minute afterwards, right? That was a Krista Seiden, or Seiden, was a Google employee, and she was looking out the window and she boarded her aircraft and she saw it crash. David Oon was also employed by a social media or an internet company, I can't remember which one, and again, very, very quickly, he was actually on the aircraft, and he got off the aircraft, took a picture and tweeted. Now at this point, okay, we're talking to crisis management, at this point in time, the San Francisco airport website crashed. It's just an enormous spike of traffic and it crashed. So at this point in time, and this is the use potentially of social media in a crisis management situation, at this point in time, Twitter became the main communication tool for San Francisco airport. Anyway, so I'll leave that with you somewhere at the time. Recommendation, I think was asked for. So social media in a crisis is a bit like this. That's actually a sign in Twitter's offices, right? And it says a number of things. It operates on a number of different levels. A, citizen journalism, if you like. People tweet without thinking. This is the problem with social media. People have got an audience, hooray, and off they go, and whatever it is comes out. But in terms of crisis management, what this is about, and it works with traditional media, and this is why I say that it's not a revolution, it's an evolution. In terms of crisis management, what this says is, in a case of crisis, do not be tempted to react immediately. Make sure you know what your crisis is before you tweet. Even in the age of social media, where you will find that Twitter, Facebook, possibly even LinkedIn, if it's a really nasty crisis, possibly Pinterest and Instagram are not the right tools. But think about it before. That 30-minute rule, I think, still holds true. Possibly you'd want to tweak your timing slightly for social media, but think about it before it happens.